Today I'm going to show you how to adjust your options for the display panel and the instrument cluster. The first thing you can do is change how you want your speedometer to look. If you go down here and hold this button in for about a second and a half, then you'll see this come up on the dash. Now, roll this up and down, and as you can see on the dash, it gives you choices. So we're going to open this up again, and I'm going to go to gauge 1, and that gives you this speedometer, and your temperature and fuel gauge are on the left. Now press the button in again, and you can now go to gauge 2, and then press the button briefly, and now you have a tachometer, and your heat gauge is on the far right and your fuel gauge is on the left at the bottom. Now we're going to press it again, and now we're going to go down to where it says vehicle info. We press that button now again, and now as you can see it has my tire inflation. Now the way to change that is to come over here and touch this button here, and now you have all this information. You have it for maintenance, you have oil life. So what you do is you click on one and then you press show in cluster, and now that's what will show in this area. And if you want to get rid of that, you press the button again and go back to gauge number 2. Now let's say we want to not have the oil life be featured on the dash. Say remove from cluster, go back into here, and my favorite thing to keep on there when I want to have information is the trip information. So I click that and I press the button show in cluster, and now that's the information that I get. Now if I want to go back to the tachometer, I just press this button again and switch to gauge 2, and now I have that. So anytime I want to go back to showing that trip information, I just hold that in and I go to vehicle info, and that's what shows up with the speedometer at the top, and the gas gauge on the left, and the heat gauge on the right. So that's how you change what shows up under vehicle info. Now if you go down to infotainment, that will just show whatever is on your radio. I'm watching a podcast right now, but now let's say I want to go to this. Now it's going to show that. So I come back into here, click it down, go back to vehicle info, and now I have my trip odometer again. But my main thing is I like to be on gauge cluster 2 and have the tachometer. And that's how you play around with your screen on a Buick Envista to change how that cluster looks.